Everyone, welcome to JT Talks Jobs. This is my live podcast where every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I answer your questions in real time. If you want to attend the live sessions, all you have to do is look me up on TikTok, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You will see the upcoming calendar of events, and you can even RSVP so that you can come and get your questions answered. My name is JT O'Donnell. I used to work in the staffing and recruiting industry, and I hopped to the other side a little over 20 years ago because I saw a huge unmet need, which was the people that we were recruiting. A lot of them, if they had a little coaching and they could better understand what was happening, they could have gotten better results. And so it's my mission in life to help you really understand what recruiters are looking for, hiring managers, how everything works, so that you can earn more, stress less, and actually love your work again. If you think about it, employers, they have a whole board of directors, a whole team of people supporting them, driving their business towards success. You are a business of one. You are in business for yourself, but you should not be in business by yourself. And unfortunately, that's what most people do. And they put themselves at a disadvantage, right? You're giving the employer, the customer, the upper hand. So I am here to be in your court, to be your board of advisors, to help you make the most out of your situation. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Shout out to everybody that's logging on today. I always love to see where the most amount of people are coming from, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, or TikTok. And again, hit me up with those questions. Don't be shy. There are no silly questions. There are no basic questions. I love answering the same questions over and over again, because if you're here and giving me your time, then I want to make sure it's worth it by giving you some information that really can make a difference. One of the things that I want people to understand about having a really incredibly successful career, having that dream job, being completely, enthralled with the work that you do, it is more achievable than you think, but it takes more than most people are willing to recognize. And so I want to give you an analogy that I think will help you understand that. If you wanted to build your dream home, absolutely the dream home, just forget the budget, right? You could have anything you wanted. Okay. You would need three things. You would need the blueprint, you would need the actual materials, and you would need the contractors to build it. Okay. One of those things missing could create disaster. No blueprint, and gosh knows what they would build you with those materials. No materials, and it doesn't matter, it's not getting built. No contractor, again, the materials and the blueprint are just going to sit there. So you can see why it becomes so critical to have those three things. To have a dream career, to land that dream job, to feel really satisfied and successful also requires three things. And 20 plus years of doing this, I know that you need the three C's. So the first thing is that you're going to need courses, education. So at Work It Daily, for example, those all come in the form of little tiny quick videos that you watch so that you can digest that. You're going to need information that closes your gaps in knowledge. To get that dream job, dream career, there are things that you don't know that you need to know. And that's where courses come in handy. The second C is actually coaching. You need experts. You need those builders, those contractors, those people that know what they're doing so they can navigate you through this process armed with all your new knowledge and really minimize the chances that you do something wrong, right? You're learning a new skill. You're applying new information. Having that expert there to guide you and support you is going to make sure that you do it right? That coaching. And then the third C is community. You don't want to be doing this alone. That's where the self-doubt creeps in. That's where the lack of motivation can happen. When you do this along other like-minded people, you're going to feel inspired, motivated, and that's what's going to help you speed up the process. So again, courses, coaching, community. If you miss even one of those things, you're slowing the process down for yourself. And that is why we built Work It Daily. So if that all made sense to you, give me a big heck yeah right now. Like, can you see the analogy? Dream home, dream career, three things you need on both sides. If that made sense to you, then here's my gift to you. You can come and try it free for 7 days. Can you give me 15 minutes a day for 7 days? Can you do that for me? 15 minutes a day for 7 days. That's all I'm asking. No money. Just 15 minutes a day. You would then be able to go through our job search accountability program and see everything that you're going to need to do to absolutely crush it and land your dream job. 15 minutes a day over 7 days, you'll be able to complete that entire course, watching that course. And in that time, you would know, aha, this is what's missing. That's what you get when you get a 7-day free trial to Work It Daily. Right. So I encourage you to go grab your 7-day free trial now. All right. Head on over there and go through 15 minutes a day. We're called Work It Daily. We're not called Work It All Day. Okay. And you will see what a transformation you can have in your career. But in the meantime, let's get into it because I now see the questions out there and I want to answer them. Here we go. First question is, having identified the organizations I want to work for and having practiced the 3 C's, is it worthwhile to add my resume to these organizations' ADP resume inventory? All right. So the real question here is, should you be adding your resume to the resume databases of the companies you want to work for? It will not hurt you. Okay. But you really should be trying to, in this market at the time that I'm recording this, connecting with the employers directly. I do not advise you to put it through a third party. You want to track down and find out the company's actual, for example, their careers page will normally have a place where you can apply directly there and put the resume in there. That is doable. Now, please understand, you got about a 0.3 acceptance rate right now, according to one study, which I mentioned on my TikTok yesterday by Pathrise, said that people are having to do about 294 applications in order to get hired. That's a 0.3 acceptance rate. So we have to manage our expectations and understand that while it's okay to have the resume in there, in the off chance they choose us, that is not what's going to get us the job. We actually need a different set of strategies, tools, and tactics that are going to help us get the attention of someone that actually could make a hiring decision. So it's not enough to pop a resume in anywhere right now, folks, just because the return on that is so minuscule. All right. Could you explain more how to do video and using video recordings to connect to hiring managers? I can, Kristen. Okay. So one of the hottest techniques that I'm teaching right now inside Work It Daily is how to use video as the first interview. Let me say that again. You could be using video right now as the first job interview. You heard me. Now, why is that? Well, how many times have you heard somebody say, and maybe you said this yourself, if I could just get in front of them and talk to them, they would see that I know what I'm talking about. They would see that I want this job and I understand this job, right? Of course, because you would be able to communicate with them. Well, that's what video is doing for many, many of my clients is we are choosing to record videos that talk about some of the most common things you'd be asked in a job interview anyways. And you know what they are. You know those 4 or 5 questions they're going to ask you. So we have them record their answers to those questions, put them together, and then send them off to a hiring manager. And the hiring manager looks at them, that is the equivalent to getting a first interview. And I'll tell you something that's really exciting right now because as much as 70% of the jobs that are actually available right now are technically hidden, meaning they're not being posted on job boards. And the reason they're not being posted on job boards is when you have a market like this where there's lots of people fighting for jobs, you don't post a job because you get too many applicants. And so instead, you go to your team and say, hey, if somebody you know is interested that you think is a worthwhile candidate, let me know. Well, now here you come along, you back channel into the company, you send your videos to some people there, and they're like, oh, this person sounds like they totally know what they're doing. Let me forward them to the hiring manager. This is what's happening. That is how you create your first job interview virtually and at scale. And it's really exciting stuff. And before you come at me in the comments and say, that's age discrimination, folks, you're going on an interview anyways. I don't know where you're getting that it's not going to still happen to you in the interview. If they want to discriminate against you, they're going to do it in the interview. So do you want to waste your time booking an interview, or do you want to do this proactively and the people that get excited about you actually have you jump over a step or two and say, we already saw you on video, you're totally a fit, let's get you in for the next round of interviews. That's what's happening right now and will continue to happen. And let me tell you why. Video very quickly is going to replace the resume. You heard me. AI is creating the death of the resume. And that is because so many people are using AI tools to create fake resumes that employers don't trust them anymore. So now employers are talking about, how do I authenticate a talent? How do I make sure they are real and they are who they say they are and they know what they're talking about? So you are going to have to provide the evidence. Your resume no longer cuts it. Video is a way for you to authenticate yourself and provide the evidence that you can do the job. And this is where people who don't have the traditional resume really excel. Because if you don't have the exact work experience, you're going to get tossed when you try to apply online. But if you can articulate that you know what you're talking about in video and they see that first, they'll be like, this person totally can do the job. Who cares what their work history was? That's where all of this is headed. So you need to be understanding these concepts and know we're not 10 years out from this happening. It's happening now. And the people that are using video now are the ones that are creating virtual interviews for themselves and getting themselves into the hiring process. Now, by the way, if you're interested, in full disclosure, I always tell you this, I have partnered with a company called McCoy, meaning I advise them. And that's after a year and a half of me watching them and saying, hey, their technology works. Their video technology works. It's a video, it's a phone app, mobile app. And it's free to download. It's on the iPhone and it allows you to create these videos and then create a link and send the videos as a link to a hiring manager or to whoever They open it and you get a notification. And so this is how I know that this is where it's going, because I'm not only teaching people how to use video inside Work It Daily, I'm helping them with their McCoy reels. And that's how they're getting ahead. So you're going to see a lot more technology like this coming down the pike. But if you want to test it and you want to see for yourself how easy it is to use and how powerful it is, go download the McCoy mobile app. It's free. Let's see, rewriting my resume using the WID format, but having trouble with the additional experience section. Yeah, okay. So folks, one of the great things about the Work It Daily resume format, I'm not going to lie, I mean, it was tested. 74% of recruiters prefer it because they can skim it fast and know exactly what your area of expertise is. Right now, you're in a time crunch. Recruiters give your resume a 6-second scan. If you look like you're a basic fit, they will go back and spend more time on it. So you've got 6 seconds to make a strong first impression. And it's that top fold, the first thing they see, that has to be crafted perfectly for skimmability. Let me tell you what doesn't skim well: a dense paragraph where you hype yourself. These summary statements are a waste of time. You heard me. They're a waste of the time because they're not reading them. You need a very clear and easy top fold. And once you get your top fold, then you move into your work history. And at the end, there can be an additional experience section. Do you need one? No. The additional experience section is just if you have some things that would be relevant for them to read and understand, you would put that in there. But not everybody needs an additional experience section. So if you don't have anything, you can just delete it. My husband has had many, many interviews since the layoff 6 weeks ago. He gets to the third interview in leadership and can't get through. Any advice? Okay. All right. So I haven't met your husband. Okay. But if someone comes to me and Work It Daily and says, I'm getting past the first round of interviews, second round of interviews, third round of interviews, and I'm not getting to the finish line, something is happening where you're not being seen as the must-have candidate. You're being seen as the nice-to-have candidate. So as we progress through the hiring process and fewer people make it to those final rounds, we're trying to discern how you will provide a return on your investment, meaning how you will save money, make money, solve problems, alleviate pain. And the other 2 or 3 candidates at that level are all vying for that. So there's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that the other 2 people made stronger case, and ultimately the person that gets hired made a stronger case that they will provide that value. Okay, that they will save money, make money, solve problems, alleviate pain. I will say that over and over again so that you understand it. The key is to use language and to communicate that by speaking about, this is something that I learned that will help save money. This is something I've learned that will make money. Here's how we solve this problem. Here's how we alleviate this pain. You're literally talking in those terms so that they hear it. Okay. Why do you do that? Because companies, like customers, buy benefits, not features. So benefits, solving problems, alleviating pain, saving money, making money, are the things that need to come out of you so that you're really helping them translate and understand that you will take all your features, your skills and experience, and you will provide great benefit. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing I would be looking at, is that in those final round of interviews, are you doing a strong enough job? The second thing has to do with experience level. This won't apply to everyone, but I'm going to be really honest with you. If you are more a seasoned executive right now and you go into these interviews and you take the approach of saying, I am the Jack or Jill of all trades, I can do it all, right? You are coming across like I'm a BMW, but I'll sell it at the price of a Honda. Nobody buys that. And so a lot of times I see people get to the final interview and they oversell themselves as saying, I can do everything. You can't do everything. Well, you technically can, but they're buying the value, the pain and the problem, the benefits that you provide. And if you aren't really succinct in your messaging there, you're coming across as overkill. And that's where you start to become less trustworthy. I also see people more seasoned, not only acting like the Jack or Jill of all trades, but their communication, their word choice comes across too severe, meaning they're like, my way or the highway. And you don't mean it that way. You're sharing a lot of enthusiasm, but what's landing is you're going to be difficult to work with. You're going to want to do it your way. If you don't like the way we do it, you're going to give us grief. They're really looking for somebody who is collaborative and could be coached. And there's a whole way that you present yourself as your more seasoned professional where that lands better, where you don't come across overconfident, which comes across as cocky, which can also come across as narcissistic or desperate. So there's a tonality, there's a communication, there's a language that we use in these interviews, again, that shows that we're the must-have candidate from a value perspective. We understand our value proposition, but also we understand how to deliver it in a way that means we'll be a good team player, that we're coachable, and that we'll be okay to work with. There's a lot of nuances there, and you pay a wisdom tax. The more successful you get in your career, folks, the higher you go, the greater the expectation that you have an incredible amount of emotional intelligence and you understand your value prop and how to deliver it. Your marketing for your business of one has to get more sophisticated. And so what you did in the past to get to these interviews and get a job will not work going forward. So my advice is great on him. He's clearly got the credentials, but something's happening in that interview phase that is making him come across many, I don't know, ways that they're going, this is just not the right person for us. Yeah. What is a good duration time to use a recent letter of recommendation when applying to jobs? Okay, so here's the reality, folks. Most companies don't believe letter of recommendations. Letters of recommendation, anyone could fake these days. You literally could put it through ChatGPT. It could create a convincing letter of recommendation. Now, having somebody post a recommendation for you on LinkedIn improves a little because that can't be made up. You can't make that up. An actual physical person has to post that. They might think that you coach that person, but if somebody was willing to put their own reputation on there and tag it, it tends to mean it's better. Overall, though, written letters don't mean anything. I would much rather you see each and every one of you ask anyone that's willing to give you a recommendation to do so on LinkedIn because there's an authentication factor to that. Okay. Very good. Any tips on finding a job in New York City? Just got my CFA, struggling to break into finance. Okay. Anytime you know where you want to work, it's awesome because you can narrow in your bucket list. A bucket list is a list of 10 to 20 companies that you would love to work for that you can tell me why what they do as a company is valuable, important, better, faster, cheaper, whatever it is. The point of that is a bucket list is 10 to 20 companies where you can tell me how you connect with why they exist. And the reason for that is your connection story is what's going to differentiate you from everyone else that has the exact same credentials as you. In this market, folks, there's 100 of you. You're all commodities. The only way to differentiate yourself and create more value is to talk about what's called your intrinsic motivation, meaning what's going to get you up out of bed every day to want to do this job. And that comes in the form of really understanding the company and why they exist. Not that you heard that they're a great place to work or they have great benefits. They know that already. Instead, what is it about their product, their service, their customers that you can talk about on a very personal and specific level that you respect and admire? That's your connection story. And you should have that for every single company on your bucket list. Once you have that, you've got your launch point for connecting and networking with people at the company. Because imagine you were at an event face to face with people, and all of a sudden there were like little groups everywhere, and each of them represented a company on your bucket list. Think of how easy it is for you to walk up to that group and say, hey, I'm so excited. I see that you all work for ABC Corp. I want to tell you why I think your company, what they're doing with their customers is amazing, or why I really respect that. And it could be a story. Maybe you've used their product and service, something from your own life taught you. That connection story automatically shows them, hey, I'm one of you. And that's how they start to relate with you. And that's how you start the conversation. That same technique works in virtual format. In fact, it's amazing because we don't always have places we can go to meet people face to face, but we have this beautiful thing called LinkedIn where we can ask people to connect and share our story 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if I was in New York City and I wanted to get a job there, I'd have 20 companies that I truly respect and admire, and I would be actively back channeling to people that work in the departments that I would want to be working in to share my story and ask them for their tips on what they think it takes to get hired there. And then there's obviously certain verbiage that you would use to do that. If you want to learn that verbiage, head on over to Work It Daily. Grab a 7-day free trial. You can learn it in our program. I got the job, but I'm a few steps down from where I was. How do I get promoted quickly? I love this question. Okay, so for a lot of people right now who lost their jobs, they are taking jobs that are a step or two below where they were previously, and they'd like to get back there as quickly as possible, especially when it comes to making more money. The good news is you're working again, which already makes you more marketable. One of the crazy things that happens once you get rehired is that you get on the radar screen of other companies. Now, why is this? Because these other companies see you as employable. You just got picked up by them. So their thought process is, all right, we could steal you away for more money. So one thing I would tell you is you don't have to take the foot off the gas pedal in looking for work. There are ways to keep your job search in maintenance mode so that other organizations are aware and you'll start to see some inbound. The next thing I would do is build what we call a 90-day game plan. Over at Work It Daily, I have a course literally. So when my clients actually get a new job, I put them into another course in our program called The First 90 Days. And I built it as an HR and recruiting individual to say, here are how in the first 90 days, you're going to make such a strong first impression that you're going to knock it out of the park. Now, why does that matter? Because there are plenty of studies that show that the people that get promoted the fastest and make more money are the ones that exceed all expectations in the first 90 days on the job. We know in HR and recruiting that we're going to see the real you in those 90 days. And so if you're going to drop the ball anywhere, we're going to see it. So for you to know exactly what to do to set up a system for yourself to crush it, home run in those 90 days, now you look like a superstar. And this is what puts you on the fast track. This is what enables you at the 6-month mark to sit down and say, hey, I've met and exceeded all the qualifications. I'm doing all these additional things. Would it be possible to earn more money? Right. And so what I do with people there, once they've done the first 90 days, is we actually build a job matrix and we start to keep track of all the things that you're doing so that you can sit down and have a 6-month review and say, what would it take for me to earn a promotion and raise? What other additional things would I need to do? Here's what I've done so far. What else do I need to do? And this is how I help people all the time, because when you do this correctly, knock it out of the park in the first 90 days, and then have this document that shows them how much more you're doing, what happens is they then go, oh, I don't want to lose this person. It took me 6 months. They're crushing it. Last thing I need is to start over again. What do I need to keep this person? That's how that works. And so there is a whole system that you can learn. Head over to Work It Daily, take the first 90 days course, and then we can go from there. Let's see. If unemployed, should you take a job just to continue looking for others? Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you folks right now. If you are unemployed right now, take a job. Please take a job, especially if you're worried about your finances. I am not going to lie. This is not a great job market. It is a full-blown white-collar job recession. Let me just give you an example so that you can understand the math and why I say take a job and keep looking, okay? So Pathrise comes out with a study that says it's an average of 294 applications to get a job, okay? 294. That's fine, but are there 294 jobs that you're an exact fit for right now? Because the only way you get a job right now is if you're an exact fit. Too little experience, too much experience. If you're applying online, they're just tossing you. Because they have that. They're getting thousands of applicants. For a lot of people that I work with, there are not that many jobs available on any given day that they can apply to, which is going to what? Extend the time it takes you to get a new job. For a lot of people, the average time to get a new job, especially white collar jobs right now, is going to be 9 to 12 months. Let me say that again, 9 to 12 months. Because there aren't enough jobs that you're a fit for at the time. It's going to take time for those jobs to come available for then you to apply if you actually get through the hiring process. And that is what most people do not understand right now. And so they're burning through their savings and putting themselves in a very desperate financial situation, which now, by the way, makes you more anxiety driven when you're interviewing. And then you can start to mess interviews up because you're thinking of them as an all or nothing. So take the job. Take the job. Keep looking. Take the job. Find a better job. That is what happens in these markets. You're going to feel a lot better if you do, just because of the nature. This is just the stats, folks. This is the reality. You can speed up job search if you know how to do it proactively and strategically, but most people won't bother. You know what I mean? There's hundreds of people, thousands of people on all three of these platforms listening right now. I bet a ton of you want a new job. I bet a bunch of you are spending anywhere from 2 hours to 10 hours a week looking for work, maybe even more. And now I'm about to tell you that 2 out of 10 people are doing job search right. So you could be one of the 8 out of 10 that's doing it wrong, which means all that time you're spending is a waste. That's the truth. People don't know how to job search today. You're using outdated methods for job search, which is making it take even longer. The smartest thing you can do for yourself right now is go back to job search school. And it's not hard. You're not going to get graded. But if you spent 15 minutes a day, by the way, you waste more time on social media or binge watching on a daily basis. So don't tell me you don't have 15 minutes a day. If you spent 15 minutes a day over the next 7 days watching my job search accountability program, you would very quickly go, oh my gosh, I'm doing job search wrong. And at first you would panic and be mad about all the time you wasted. But then you would be like, thank goodness I could have just wasted days, weeks, months, still doing it wrong. That's the truth. So when you're ready to spend 15 minutes a day over 7 days and you want to get through all 2.5 hours in one day, go for it, right? But I'm saying, seriously, 15 minutes a day over 7 days, you can get through my entire little video series and you will know exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. Yeah. But please take the jobs right now, because most people are looking for work the wrong way and will continue to look for work the wrong way. Yeah. Doesn't taking a job in the interim and still looking for work make you look like a risky candidate? They won't know you're looking for work. There's something called a stealth job search that you can conduct. It's very easy. So stealth job search is when you are still looking for work, but your current employer doesn't know it. There are very specific techniques you use to do that. Yeah. Should I take part-time or unemployment while looking for full-time work? So, folks, I mean, this is a really interesting question, and this is what I'm going to have you look at. Unemployment runs out. Once you start unemployment, there's a certain amount of time that before it ends and you don't get any more. The longer you stay fully unemployed, the less marketable you are. The more employers will go, "What's wrong with you?" I know that's an awful thing to say. So my point is, if there's a way for you to take part-time employment so that you're working and cover your bills, you may seriously want to consider pushing off unemployment in the event you need it later on. Because again, there's a cycle when you run out. That's the truth. If you just lost your job and you're like, no, I need the unemployment, go ahead and take it. When I say triple down on your job search strategy, you better have a very tight job search strategy. You want to get redeployed as quickly as possible. So just weigh your options and understand some of the realities around it. Let's see. How to approach interview when they open the door floor and just you asking questions. It was a startup. Yeah. So I think when companies are interviewing you and they let you ask questions, they're trying to see how you think. So that's a really smart way for them to understand your depth of knowledge. Does everyone understand that the quality of your questions reveals how much you know what you're talking about? Let me say that again. The quality of your questions in a job interview tells us, the recruiter and the hiring manager, how much you really know. Because if you know how to ask really specific questions about the problems that you would be solving and the pain that you'd be alleviating, you're revealing how much you know what to do. That's a big deal. So I love it when companies say, ask us questions, because that gives you a chance to get really hyper specific and ask questions that prove your depth of knowledge and experience. So take that as a bonus, but really run with it and get in there and ask those questions that only someone with your level of knowledge could ask, because that's how you're providing the evidence and the validation that you know what you're talking about. Yeah. You guys are amazing. Let's see. So I started volunteering for 90 days as an academic recruiter for a startup tech boot camp. I believe in the mission and vision. However, I still want to achieve a role in my expertise in GRC. What's the best way to navigate? So folks, if you know what kind of job you want, if you know what industry you want to be in, these are two major, I would say, narrowers of focus, which is awesome. Ideally, you want to know what industry you want to be in and what skill sets you want to leverage. That is like the most targeted job search we can create for you. That's how we get you the fastest results and work it daily. So if you know what job you want or you know what industry, great. But if you know both, even better. Because one, we can tailor your tools to that industry and that skill set and really get you talking about the problem you solve and the pain you alleviate, right? And then also we can target who you're having that conversation with. Let me give you an example. So if you needed heart surgery and you had in front of you a heart surgeon who had performed heart surgery 100 times and a general surgeon who had just performed 100 surgeries, not specifically on the heart, and you had your choice, who would you pick? You're going to go with the heart surgeon, right? That's what employers think. So if you're out there branding yourself as the general surgeon, yeah, you'll get some people to go with you, but you're going to have to market yourself a lot more until you find people that, align with you. If you know you're a heart surgeon, you know you can go to the people with the heart problems, you know that you're going to be able to prove yourself, you're going to get hired as the surgeon faster. Does everyone see that, how that works? You are the surgeon. So if you know what industry you want to be in, what skill sets you want to use, we can much fine-tune target the companies you want to talk to and who within the companies you should be talking to for them to immediately see your value, know that you are the right kind of candidate for the job, and want to interview you. And when you add in something like video, which I keep talking to you about, where you could then talk and create some videos around the industry and the skill set, now you're really talking their language. Now they're really like, ooh, this is who we need. This is the kind of surgical type job search that we help you create at Work It Daily. So you stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time just spraying and praying. That's what people do. Okay. You need to be more precise. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Awesome. Let's see. I took a data entry job after 8 months of unemployment. I still work this job on the weekends along with a full-time contract position as the implementation manager. Should I list the part-time job on a resume? You don't need to anymore. If I was having you do it, you could put it part-time in your additional experience, but I actually would just, because you've got a contract job that's full-time and more relevant, that's what I would lead with. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good. So, is 7 days enough? Both myself and my husband are out of work and money is tight. Yeah, I get that a lot, which is why I'm going to be brutally honest. Just go try, sign up for a 7-day free trial and do everything you possibly can in my platform. And then if you want to stay on, memberships start at $29 a month. Okay? So the two of you, one of you could keep a membership and you could learn together, right? That we see a lot of people do that. I will also do this, and I haven't done this in a really long time, but I'll do it now. If you're on right now, TikTok 10. Write it down. TIKTOK10. I haven't done this in a while. TIKTOK10. That is a super secret discount code. It's only for my lives. And notice I'm halfway through my live. If you use that, not only can you go over and grab the 7-day free trial, use it for 7 days and then cancel if you want to, and you won't be charged. But if you put it in, you can also get $10 a month off any membership. So that standard membership I just talked about would be $19 a month. Cancel at any time, no setup fees. So if you did the 7 days and we're like, we love it, we want to stay in it, do the standard membership. It'll be $19. That's less than $1 a day. I guess my question to you is, if $19 in 1 month of our program helps you get reemployed, how much is that worth to you? This is what I mean about people, especially people who are unemployed. And I know this is hard to hear. I get it. You're like, money is tight, so I don't want to spend it on anything. But if this is the thing that's going to close your gaps in knowledge and get you the job, it seems a little short-sighted not to do that. So I know that's hard to hear, but it's just the reality. But in the meantime, let me be clear. 7 days you can cancel. It won't charge you anything. My YouTube channel has thousands of videos. I have thousands of videos on my TikTok, thousands on LinkedIn, so many free resources linked in my bio. There are just so many resources out there that I've built for the unemployed person who doesn't want to spend any money, because I get it. The majority of people, in all seriousness, that come to work at Daily are busy working professionals that want a better paying job and want to speed that up as quickly as possible. And so they're willing to invest to speed it up, right? You're spending the money to learn and to target and to get the results faster. That's why people join Work at Daily. And that's not for everyone. And I get it. I totally get it. That's not for everyone. That's why I do these lives. That's why I offer so many free resources. But at the same time, we're $29 a month. And with TikTok 10 for the next 24 hours, they'll turn that code on for you. You can get it for $19 a month after 7 days free. So, why do we do that? I just really quickly want to share this. I get that most people aren't used to paying for advancement in their career. And they also have a very false assumption of what we do. And then they get in there in 7 days and go, oh my gosh, this isn't what I thought it was. There's a reason we have a 70% conversion rate and then another 15% come back. Because they get in there and go, oh my gosh, this is what I need to stay motivated, to do the right activities, to speed up my search and not be so stressed out. Like, we get it. This is rooted in 2 decades of research. So that's why I can give it away free for 7 days. That's why I'm not worried. And I encourage you to use it. And if you cancel, I get it. I do. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Let me bounce back to that. Very good. Let's see. What else do we have on here? Where to join? Yeah, head on over to workitdaily.com, folks. Go to Work It Daily, all one word, workitdaily.com. Use TikTok 10, and you can sign up for a 7-day free trial and get $10 off the membership after the 7 days. You don't get charged for 7 days. You can cancel in the 7 days right inside the platform. You just go in and cancel if you want to. That's how easy it is. Yeah. My current industry is facing significant headwinds and hiring is nearly non-existent. I have 6 years of solid CPG marketing experience earlier in my career and have been trying to pivot back to that area, but struggling to get interviews because that experience is 15 years old, not sure what to do. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Folks, for a lot of you, you need to step back and do some serious due diligence on where your industry and your skill set is headed. Let me explain that. AI is disrupting every job out there, every white collar job out there. And quite frankly, even the people that say in blue collar jobs, well, they'll never take my plumbing job. They'll never take my electrician's job. They're already working on AI tools that make it easier for somebody to not have decades and decades of experience. So those are getting disrupted too. All right, let me be clear. Every skill set is going to be impacted by AI, but the one that's being impacted the most right now are white collar jobs because there's so much of that that can be replaced with AI. So we're seeing massive amounts of jobs and roles contract. Companies are cutting down their size because they can. And I'll be honest, no company says, I want more employees. They don't say that. Employees are the most expensive thing any company has, the most expensive thing. So anytime they can have fewer of them, they will. Plain and simple. Okay? That is just the reality. And so many people right now don't understand that AI is changing their job market, and if you don't understand what AI is being used, how to leverage it, and how it's going to impact the type of jobs you're going for, you're putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage. If your market is contracting, like marketing right now, being hammered by AI, right? Advertising, sales, operations, communications, every day there's a new AI tool that can replace a human being. And so you have to be looking at that because they will still hire human beings, but they will hire the human beings to leverage the AI. And so you need to be doing some serious research on how AI is impacting your industry, and you need to be talking about it because the people that can talk about it are the ones they're going to hire to do the jobs. That is the truth. That is, I'm seeing it every day as somebody that's helping thousands of people get new jobs every month. Everyone's talking about AI in their job interviews and how it's going to be utilized in their careers going forward. So if you're struggling, if your industry is really not hiring, or you're looking to pivot back into another industry, no matter what, you've got to ask yourself, how's AI impacting that industry? What do I need to know about AI? And how can I talk about it intelligently so I can be seen as the person to hire who can leverage the AI? Very important that we be doing that. Yep. Yep. Very, very good. What are your thoughts on cover letters? Okay, let's talk cover letters in 2024 and beyond. All right. So the traditional cover letter is dead. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't bother. All right. The traditional cover letter is that one where you're like, to whom it may concern, I am applying to the XYZ job, and here's a summary of my qualifications. Essentially, it's a regurgitation of your resume. Doesn't get read. One, because most people will look at it and go, you probably used AI to build it. You probably used ChatGPT and said, make a cover letter to this company for this job based on my resume, right? They don't read them. Okay. Here's what they do read: disruptive cover letters. Disruptive cover letters. I have been teaching this technique for years now, and it is a total game changer because it doesn't look like a cover letter. That's why it's called a disruptive cover letter. Instead, it tells your connection story. It helps them understand why you get them as an employer, why you are really excited about what they do. Okay. So let's give you some examples. I had somebody that wanted to work for Google, and her disruptive cover letter said, I remember the first time I used Google search and it changed my life, dot, dot, dot. It was bolded on the page. And then she used our formatting technique to tell her story, tell another story about the type of work she does, and then ask them for an interview. This is our format that we teach inside Work It Daily. Works like a dream. I had somebody who wanted to get a job with a major brand, right? And she said, 6 Oreos and a glass of milk was my go-to snack of choice after every soccer game, dot, dot, dot. And she told the story. You can imagine what brand she was going for. And yes, she got an interview. Okay. Storytelling is something we're all familiar with. It is why we fall into the hole in social media. Stories are more memorable. They evoke emotion and connection. If you want to get a job in this market, you have to evoke emotion and connection because everyone looks the same. To differentiate yourself is not going to be about your skills. It's going to be about your connection story. So when you can create a disruptive cover letter that delivers that, they go, ooh, this person gets us. Now, is it hard to do? No. Once you build the framework, you know how to create them pretty simply. And quite frankly, if you're in a specific industry or skill set, you can pretty much use the same disruptive cover letter, just tweak a few things for all the companies that you want to work for. Getting these stories into the hands of people that work there is what's getting people job interviews. And I'll tell you one further. I have clients right now that are taking their written disruptive cover letters, turning them into videos and saying, hey, let me tell you the story about how I came to learn that your company is awesome. And those videos, those virtual video disruptive cover letters are what's actually getting them interviews. So old cover letter, old school cover letters out. They don't work. Disruptive cover letters, yes. And if you can take it one level up with a video, oof, now you're really talking. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. I'm glad. Folks, thank you so much for your likes and your shares and your follows. It means the world to me. I am here 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doing JT Talks Jobs, the live podcast to help the millions of people out there that are really suffering. This is a crazy time, and you need the right information in order to differentiate yourself. The market is flooded, candidates all look the same. The applications online, the inboxes are stuffed by companies. You're going to have to do something different. When you're ready to do something different, when you're ready to learn what you need to do, all I'm asking for is 15 minutes a day. I love that you're watching me here, but the truth is, if I can put you in a very structured program where you watch a video, right? 15 minutes of video a day, I'm going to be able to teach you the entire proactive job search strategy. We call it job shopping that can help you in this market. So when you're ready for that, you go over to Work It Daily, you grab a 7-day free trial. As I said, I turned on the TikTok 10 discount code. It's good for 24 hours. You can try it free for 7 days, 15 minutes a day for 7 days, and see for yourself. And if you love it, stay. And if you put that code in, you'll get $10 off a month. Cancel at any time. You can cancel right inside the platform. I go live 5 times a week. If you like what we're doing here, imagine having little video tutorials and be able to come to coaching calls and get your questions answered. See, we understand that you need a very specific combination of courses, little videos, coaching, live sessions, and community, supportive peers. That is what's going to speed up your job search, keep you motivated, keep you happy, get you results. If that makes sense to you, 7-day free trial, go to workitdaily.com and you can sign up with that TikTok 10 discount code. 7 days free. How do you do a letter if you're just looking for an admin position? Okay, let's talk about this. I love it. People will come to me and say, I just want an admin position. How would I do a disruptive cover letter? Amazing. How did you become an admin? What's your favorite aspect of your job? Tell me about the time that you knew that admin wasn't just a job for you, it was a career. Connect me to the work. Okay. Or maybe you don't want to talk about your admin job. Maybe there's a company you've always dreamed of working for and being an admin at, and you can tell that story. All right. Connection is about helping the employer understand what would get you up out of bed every day to come do the job. I'm going to tell you the story. I haven't told it in a while, but it's really going to drive the point home. So I had a woman, she was an office manager, an admin, and she really wanted to get out of the job she was in. Super toxic work environment. She had been there for like 15 years, really wanted to change and was struggling. And so she made her bucket list with us. And one of the companies on her bucket list was the Life is Good company. The t-shirt company. And I said, why the Life is Good company? She goes, true story. She said, my sister has 2 kids and one of her kids is going through a phase right now where the only thing he'll eat is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's it. Peanut butter and jelly. That's it. And she said, she's freaking out. She's calling the doctor. She's trying to figure out what to do. And the doctor's like, look, he'll change his eating habits when he wants to. At least he's eating. Give him peanut butter and jelly till he's sick of it. She said, so I go there one day after work, after having a really bad day at work with a toxic boss. I knock on the door and my nephew opens the door and he's standing there with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and he's got a Life is Good t-shirt on with the little stick figure holding a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And she's like, I just burst out laughing. And she goes, to me, the company just gets it. And I was like, there's your disruptive cover letter. She's like, what? I'm like, that's your story. I said, I want you to write, I remember the time I understood the real value of a Life is Good t-shirt, ... tells the story of the nephew. If there's ever an opportunity to work for you, let me know. We back channel our way in. And this is how long ago it was. We found a way to fax the cover letter a long time ago to the operations person. She literally got a phone call the next day and she was working there within 2 weeks. Can't make that up. So that's what I mean about connection. This is what most of you don't understand. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Here, let's play a little game right now. We're going to play a little game called My Favorite Brand. Everybody right now, I want you to comment wherever you are. If you're on TikTok, LinkedIn, or YouTube right now, comment a brand that you buy, that you go out of the way to buy. Like you'll go to a special store, you'll pay extra money for it, you'll order it special, whatever it is. There is a brand that you are all obsessed with or certainly loyal to. What is that brand right now that came to mind? All right, think about that for a minute. This is a brand that you really feel what's called an affinity for, a connection with. All right, I got people yelling Apple, Anthropology, Flying Machine, Black & Decker. Okay, see, NFL, Are you noticing something? Is everyone choosing the same company? No, that's the beauty of the disruptive cover letter and the concept of connection. All stash T, you're all picking different things. Do you see my point? Okay. Why? Because somewhere in your life, you had an experience that made you realize that what they do is special, better, awesome. And if I was to ask you about that brand, you could go into great detail about what makes them so amazing, right? What brand doesn't want to hear that? Don't you think those brands tried to do that? Don't you think every brand wants you to love them? And so they build that. They have a persona of who uses them and they build that and they get loyal following. Do you see that? What brand doesn't want to hear in detail why you love them? Okay. Every employer is a brand, which means every employer wants to hear the story of why you get them, why you love them, why you feel connected to them. Are we seeing this? This is my point. This is why that works. And this is what most job seekers sleep on and don't understand. So they keep slapping together a resume that makes them look like everybody else, applying online and never hearing back. That is not connection. That is lazy apply. And I know you're going, lazy, it takes me hours to do. Folks, it's not connection. Connection isn't hard. You just need to learn how to do it. And quite frankly, connection is going to make you more strategic in your job search. You're going to work less on your job search and get a better return on the investment because you're connecting from here. Does that make sense to everybody? This is just one of the many things you will learn if you spend 15 minutes a day watching my job search course. Just 15 minutes a day watching videos over the next 7 days, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, now I get it. That's why we have a 7-day free trial. So you can go through the class free for 7 days. All of you have 15 minutes a day for the next 7 days. If you want a job that badly, what are you doing? I'm not asking you for your money. Not yet. I'm asking you for your time. I'm asking you for 15 minutes to let me and my team show you what you're doing wrong. Let us teach you. Those are the things that are going to get you hired. Those are the things that are going to get you a better paying job. Awesome. Love it. Okay. You guys are amazing. I need to keep an eye on the time. All right. Because I've got, in fact, speaking of live, if any of you sign up in the next 13 minutes of this live recording, you will get instant access to our calendar of events. At noon Eastern today, I will be doing something called JSIP, Job Search Issue Processing, where 5 members have shared their story in detail, and I will be giving highly customized advice. It's amazing to watch because in that 45 minutes, you are absolutely going to see yourself in all of these people and know exactly what you're doing wrong. So if you really want to see if I know what I'm talking about, you should sign up for your 7-day free trial right now and go over and watch JSIP with me at noon Eastern. Okay. So I'm telling you, you've got to know what you're doing wrong. And you have to ask yourself, how much pain are you going to have to get in before you decide to do this? Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Very, very good. I'm glad you've been having, yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's amazing. Carla says, I asked the universe for a sign and I logged into YouTube and came across my screen. Well, I am glad. That's awesome. That's what I want to hear. What kind of CV would you recommend for social media management jobs? Okay, so folks, anytime you're looking for a job that is specifically a white collar job, social media, marketing, advertising, sales, operations, finance, communications, PR, like anything in the business realm, you are going to need what's called a 6-second resume. A 6-second resume is a resume that a recruiter can skim in 6 seconds and know exactly what your area of expertise is. So for example, if you want a social media job, the 6-second resume will tell me in 6 seconds, not only that you do social media management, but all the key skill sets and tasks, the hard skills required to do that job are listed and then validated through the work history. That is how you're going to statistically improve the chances that I will read your resume top to bottom because you're a match and consider you for the job. If you want to learn how to create the 6-second resume, head on over to Work It Daily. There is a video tutorial and a template and examples so that you can create it. Okay. Very, very easy. Takes you 30 minutes to do. Please don't play a resume writer. You don't need one. What you need is the 6-second resume and the format and formula to do that. And you can do all of that in 30 minutes. Folks, I have been teaching this for 2 decades. Here's what I know about job seekers. The last thing you feel like doing is spending your valuable free time looking for work. Let's be honest, right? Doesn't sound fun, does it? And the reason it doesn't sound fun is because every time before this that you've looked for work, it's giving you anxiety, uncertainty, confusion, depression, frustration, because you don't know what you're doing. And you know that. And you're like, I don't know if this is working or not. This is so frustrating. I have no control. Okay, I get it. Which is why I had to build a platform that in 15 minutes a day would literally light you up and make you go, oh my gosh, I can do this. Oh, it's not hard. Oh, I don't need to be spending hours a day doing this. I can actually make this happen. I actually have control. I know the steps I need to take. That is what Work It Daily is. So this is just another example. We've got resume writing on lock. And if you get one of our memberships with coaching, you then send the resume to the coaches and we look at it top to bottom and we record a video and tell you what to change. And we work with you back and forth until it's chef's kiss perfect. Like, we have figured all of this out. So please make sure that you're using a skimmable resume format for any kind of white collar office job right now, because it's the only way for you to make the immediate impact and proof, the evidence that you are who you say you are. Yeah. Okay, team, this has been amazing. What was your big aha moment today? I always do this because anytime you go to a session like this, I want you to leave committed to utilizing an idea or a concept. So what was the big aha moment? Please share with me in the comments. I want to see, what did you learn? What was the thing that you're going to do differently? Or what is the thing you didn't know you needed to know? If you would share that with me, I would love it. Good news, I am back tomorrow and Thursday, right? I go live 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can follow me on LinkedIn and RSVP there. You can follow me on YouTube or TikTok. All of them have the postings and you can follow. You can also watch the recordings. If you can't attend live, you can go back and watch the recordings, hence why it's a podcast, okay? But most importantly, if you want to speed this whole thing up, if you want us to focus on you, then I would love you to spend 15 minutes a day with me for the next 7 days. Okay. And you can do that inside Work It Daily, right? In Work It Daily, my team and I, we have a mission. It's to make sure that you feel seen, heard, and understood. That is our mantra. We want every client to feel seen, heard, and understood in a time where they're doing something that's very lonely and scary, right? So come give us 15 minutes a day and we'll show you what we mean, right? That's all we need is your time. We'll show you the rest. And a little reminder, if you didn't already jot it down, TikTok 10 is that special discount code that'll be good for 24 hours. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, maybe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for posting your aha moments. That's what I want to see as well. You all are the best. Remember, you've got this. Just because it's competitive out there doesn't mean you can't get a new, better paying job. And let me tell you why. Because there aren't millions of people on this podcast. And even if there were, most of them wouldn't do it. Will you be the one today that does the things I tell you to do? Will you be the one that says, if I do this differently, I will get a job? Keep saying this. That's my mantra I want you all to leave with today. If I do it differently, I will get a job. I need to look for the ways to do it differently and I will get a job. That is the truth. I promise you. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah. And hopefully a whole bunch of you over in my JSIP session inside Work It Daily, which I got to go jump to now. Okay. Bye, everyone.